Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Hey everybody, it's Liam and Big Al with special guest JWah from the Beards. This is the Badcast.
Badcast.
Oh, there we go.
And we are here.
We're going to get rid of the one that we've got and just...
you know what?
The sting.
It's the new intro. All right. Welcome to the Badcast, JWah. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. It's a true pleasure. I like to have an excuse just to see you bastards again.
Ah, isn't he a nice guy? That's why I wanted him here, for three reasons. He's a legit rock star. He's hilarious, and he's a nice guy as well.
You know, when was the last time? I think the last time I saw you, you gave me, you guys gave me entry into the lounge.
Yes, I remember that.
Is that some kind of place where nobody or?
Yeah.
Well, you get free there if you got
Really?
the gold card. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly what I had to do to the Beards.
That ham and cheese toasty is going to cost you.
Oh, yeah. So I guess the best thing to do would be to kind of, for those of you who don't know who JWah is a muso, funny guy, but so he's been in a couple of bands. Could you call them theme bands?
I would say yes. Novelty bands.
Novelty bands.
Novelty bands.
One of them was called the Dairy Brothers, which was a milk-themed band. Is that a fair call?
That's why I'd say novelty, because the Dairy Brothers weren't supposed to be a themed band.
Right.
They just, I don't know why. I joined these three punks
Yep.
in university.
Yep.
And they came up with 4 ideas for names for the band.
Right.
And the Dairy Brothers was the one I hated the least.
Right,
So
okay.
I greenlit that one. And then, totally randomly, we had one song called Cow.
Right.
That then became probably one of our bigger...
I know, I heard it on
got-
radio and stuff.
Yeah. But we weren't... Every other song was not about dairy.
Right.
Or in any way dairy related.
Having said that, though, when you did your gigs, you'd have a fucking giant cow, wasn't it? It was a normal size. It was an anthropomorphic cow.
Yeah, it's good to see that you sold it to Sunrise.
and a giant milk carton dancing around in the crowd.
Okay, so those 3 things aside...
Yeah, it was nothing to do with milk.
Nothing to do with milk.
And also, I remember one of the funniest things ever was, I think it was at the grounds, JWah was playing in the Dairy Brothers, and he got 2 jugs of milk and just poured them over his fucking head. Mid fucking, he was rocking out hard, and I just pissed myself laughing.
All right, well,
and the
those
stench,
4 things aside, we weren't dairy related.
Well, you wouldn't be able to do that now, just in case milk got onto a kid who was allergic to shit.
Yeah. No, I know.
Oh, look at me, I'm dying.
It was during the era where they used to scull milk deliberately.
White fear, remember that?
Right on.
So all right, so whoever doesn't know about that, that's this. So used to do this event called White Fear. Now you can take about 4 to 5 liters of liquid in your stomach, right?
Yeah.
And they would make you drink like, what was it, like
6?
more than you can handle of milk in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
And you would just have a rubbish bin in front of you to spew in, right? So you'd literally know you're going to spew.
Yeah.
And the stench, I remember, was exquisite.
Oh, God.
It was really something.
It was really full on, and yes, as you mentioned, now we're in a nanny state. Everyone's a bit ticky touchwood.
No more White Fear.
So you can't do the White Fear, and you certainly can't go splashing milk around
exactly.
in some, in case some lactose intolerant bloody gets a little bit of bloody milk in his eye.
That's right.
Goes
That's
home
right.
crying. I don't have a note from home. Chin up, got it in my eye. It sucks.
It stings.
And that's an interesting note. Milk does really sting.
Oh, does it really?
In your eye. You'd think it'd be like a base or something. Very cooling. But nay.
But is it called White Fear because one of them could have been lactose intolerant? And that fear of just going, hey, look, I know I vomited live on stage, but there is also a chance I could shit myself.
So, all right, so we've done the Dairy Brothers. Now, I guess it's probably worth mentioning the Beards, which were probably, you'd have to say, were they a bigger band?
I would definitely say that.
Yeah.
So there was actually a juncture at which we were both bands and we didn't have a manager. And so as musicians, we were terrible managers and terribly managing 2 bands.
Right.
So we had a meeting and we said, should we be the Beards or be the Dairy Brothers, and just focus on that one. And I was the only one that voted for the Dairy Brothers.
Right.
And yeah, in retrospect,
still pissed you off?
I was wrong.
Okay, you were wrong.
Yeah,
I actually
right.
do remember
The
seeing a
beard's
couple
really-
of live acts where you guys had both played the same fucking show, and it was funny because you guys
yeah.
had a kind of a beef with each other and stuff. And
It was the Goodwood, wasn't
Slag
it?
each other off. Yeah.
all over,
I think it was the
man,
Goodwood because you grew the beards and then you. I
He
went to take a
grew
piss.
the beards.
And then you were like fucking just having a shave
At the
to,
job-
to come back as the Dairy Brothers.
We did do that. We did that. Most famously was our first gig, and it was at Jive, and there's just the smallest little green room.
Oh, yeah.
And we just had a trough. We didn't want to go to the dunny through
Yeah,
the crowd
yeah.
and give away our big reveal.
Yeah, right.
You know, so we had this trough of tepid water that then got filled up with just heaps of whiskers and shaving cream and blood. You know, and then we just went back outside onto the stage again as the Dairy Brothers. You know, sweat getting into our freshly cut wounds. The things you do for rock and roll.
oh yeah, baby.
We suffered for our art, and you know, the rest is history.
That's right. Now, all right. So you guys have done fucking world tours. You've done all kinds of crazy stuff.
We're a bit
So
lucky.
what kind of places have you played?
We got to America twice.
Wow.
But stopped being allowed to get in there, and we don't know why. We got
right.
knocked back for a visa, whatever. Anyway, from then on, we booked 2 more tours and didn't get to go on either of them. But Europe are far more relaxed, and we got to go over there, I think, 7 times, and did very well in Germany and the Netherlands and Scotland and England.
I guess there's a lot of beardsmen there, is there? Or is that what it is? Or
There are, yeah. Scotland and Germany, these sort of colder climates. Also, Germany,
yeah.
bless their hearts, they like to get swept up in a social movement.
Right.
We'll rock up on their stage and start chanting the beards, and they're just ready for a chant.
I hear you.
You know?
Yeah,
If
right.
you've got a microphone, they'll follow you.
A bit of charisma.
I don't know,
and,
like we were putting our hands up in the air, and I'm not sure how they read that. There may have been a...
they liked it.
Did you go
They
to
were
a,
into it. They
liked
were
it.
right into it.
Did you go to a country where there was more women with beards than men in the audience?
No, we didn't get to any countries.
Or Smithfield?
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
It was
that.
right there. wasn't it?
Yeah. But there certainly were some bearded ladies. There's a very
really?
famous English lady of, I think, Afghanistani descent, and she has grown a full, thick black beard.
After listening to the album.
Wow.
No. Maybe that Conchita Wurst may
yeah.
have done it. I don't know, but we didn't inspire her. But she's made a thing of it. She's got a bit of a
right.
career as this bearded lady, and she came to the English show, and
that's
she was
awesome.
front row centre, and she didn't seem that impressed.
No.
No, but she did love all the bearded ladies. Raise your hands.
Yeah, she raised one hand.
Did you
I don't know
get
if
the
that's
odd?
a 5 out
So
of 10
how
or
often
not.
would a bearded lady come up? No, I'm not talking about fake beards. I'm talking about legit. You must have seen some weird beards in your time.
We have seen some weird beards, and that lady, she's probably the only like full on I'm a bearded lady person.
Mm-hmm.
Other ladies are just older and have wisps.
A little,
Yeah. My gran is a good example of that. She's from southeast of South Australia, and she's grown a stonking beard.
Good stuff.
And she doesn't mind. She gets quite a number of suitors knocking at her door.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Hey, did you ever like get a kiss from her at Christmas and get entwined with your?
Yeah, well, as a
Right.
kid, I'd come out with past rash. You know? I'd go, oh, thanks,
Should've
Gran.
shouldn't have held the kiss for so
Go
long.
and
That's
start-
what it was.
That's right.
Too weird, man.
I think of the inheritance every time.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that like these people that turn up to these shows, especially across Europe and stuff. In Germany, I'm thinking especially right to the beards shows. You've got those dudes who like who do tournament competition beards with the
they do them
twirly
here.
mows and
Yeah,
the crazy
right.
beards. Like really a serious thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really serious thing. And our first international gig was at the World Beard and Moustache Championships
wow.
in Anchorage, Alaska. And yeah, we got to play at the opening ceremony, and you know what we were a bit of a joke band, and we don't really take beards that seriously as people. Our characters do,
Sure.
so we purport to care about beards, which is in of itself a very weird thing to care about. But these people really do care. They
Right.
take it very seriously. They groom. A lot of the competitors have come from Europe to Anchorage, Alaska, to compete in this thing. And I think if they had found out that we were taking a piss, then they would not have enjoyed our set as much as they did.
They might have pulled a blade out of their beard and messed with you.
Possibly shivved us. Yeah, the Canadians got it. there were a lot of Canadians. It's just across the border there. There's beard and moustache championships here in Australia as well.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's everywhere. Even just within the last 5 years, we do a rural tour around, and it's probably more the East Coast, but there's like Tamworth Beard and Moustache.
Oh, really?
Club.
Really?
There's,
I thought it would have been just
A
goatee
club.
festivals.
So you turn
Yeah,
up
they're
and you
clubs.
just kind of go, hey, go on.
Right.
well, that's what
Still
I've
got a
never
beard?
really
Yeah,
understood.
same here. Yeah.
They have clubs and presumably meetings where they just rock up and just have a beard.
Just check each other out.
So did you get some of these? Because you've got a song called "The Beard Club." Like, do you get ideas from these?
Oh,
Is that how it works, or am I just? I'm just going under the iceberg here, aren't I?
yeah. We just sort of let that all occur and wrote our own.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Looked within for our own motivation and
yeah.
inspiration for songs, you know.
Because I'm a massive, when people go, I'm not a massive music person. When you come along and people are like, fucking they can just tell you every Beatles song and they just mess. But I'm not a, we'll go, oh, what kind of genre do you love? And it's just like, well, I'm not really I'd rather sit down and listen to, podcasts or anything like that than music as such. Like I don't really have a huge music thing, you know. But
So you like the beards?
the beards are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I sing along in my car. Like you do comedy shows, we're all country, and then I go 2 hours, and the only thing, and you just go, look, I don't even care. Like I'm singing the beards,
Yeah.
and you just like, and I just love it.
I think actually in the 10 years that we were a band and successful, the largest faction of society that got into us was people that didn't like music, such as yourself. What that says about us, I don't know.
But can I ask, is there a chance, like, I've got a few questions, okay? Firstly, is this the end of the beards? Like, or will you still come along and bring out albums even though you're not going to tour?
Well, our line to media like yourselves is that it is the end. We have no plans to tour anymore.
Right.
And realistically, if you're going to be a band and doing it in any realistic way, you need to tour.
Yeah, right.
As far as more content,
Yes.
we have a lot of songs that we've never released.
right.
Okay, cool.
And wacky ideas. So whether or not we actually do that from home and just use the internet, which is ultimately what got us a
You can
a
get your stuff on
worldwide.
Spotify, can't you? A lot of this
Yeah,
stuff
we're
you
on
can get.
Spotify.
Yeah.
All of those.
There we go.
So
And
check that
a
out.
couple of other bands called the Beards as well, but
Oh,
you
really?
they're
serious?
small fry.
Really?
Only one good one.
There
But because I had to
there was
say,
actually one. There was three the Beards that we knew
right.
of. Then one was a all-girl folk band from America. So forget that.
that's why you're not without in.
Maybe that's it. They run the world after
They
all.
do.
Anyway, the other one was an Italian band, and they actually wrote us. We will call the Beards. I can't do an Italian accent. I won't try.
That sounds,
They
good
wrote
luck,
us
mate.
and said, sorry, we've been the Beards for 2 years and you're clearly the more popular band
The actual
called the
Beards.
Beards, so we'll
Yeah.
stop. They almost
nice of them.
imposed a cease and desist upon themselves.
oh, well,
Yeah.
big shouts out to them. What are they called now?
I don't know, maybe the new Beards?
The New Beards.
The goatees.
The original Beards.
The cleanly shavens.
Maybe.
Because I have to say, it sounds like I'm fangirling, but I am. But I have to say, my best Christmas song was Six White Boomers. That was my favourite. And then the Beards Christmas song come out. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, fucking one of the best. I probably listen to that over around about 20 times every Christmas, and even when it's not even Christmas. And then when I asked Tommy, apparently that was just like written within.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I just had a
minutes, hours.
riff, and we were at rehearsal, and he said, let's throw together something. And he basically wrote the lyrics to this riff that I wrote in Jam Room, and then we went and recorded it the week
crazy.
after or something. So, interestingly, we put that on a compilation, Adelaide compilation album, which included the Beards and the Dairy Brothers.
Yep.
But also Southside Bob, who did Six White Boomers
Yeah,
on
right.
that same CD.
there you go. Yeah,
he's
so
very
you
cool,
would have
yeah.
been just putting that on. And
Mate, I creamed myself 4 times.
fantastic.
Now, what I'm asking, I know-
Dexter Jones were also on that, I should mention.
Oh.
The only other band on that Adelaide compilation. I don't know if you can call it a compilation.
Oh, that's right.
There's
Can we
just
still get it?
Probably.
Can you still get CDs, man?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
don't worry. As a musician, I've got boxes and boxes of them
Yeah.
at home collecting dust.
Now,
You guys actually did something really cool just recently with the Beards. You fucking, was it like a comb with a USB in it released? That was rad,
that's,
man.
That's not recent. That's current.
Current.
You can still get that.
Oh, wow.
Where can
from
people get that one, JWah?
Thebeards.com.au
Go for that. Check
or
that out.
on our Facebook.
Because
the
you know what,
beards.
I bought your latest album, one that's got the bearded CD cover.
Uh-huh.
I got that from JB Hi-Fi, and it was all signed by you guys.
Yeah,
it was
right,
amazing.
just, yeah.
It was good. But I'm thinking, is there a chance? I'm asking as a friend, can you bring out a Beards karaoke version of all your albums?
With the
don't
bouncing ball?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I don't see why not.
Can we make that
Jesus.
happen? Because they're very easy to sing along to songs. I already know the lyrics anyway. I probably don't need it, but for people, folks like this bearded chap who probably doesn't. He loves your songs, but he doesn't
know the lyrics, so he needs the ball.
Oh, I know the
Exactly.
fucking lyrics.
The bouncing
Like,
ball.
if your dad doesn't have a beard, you've got two mums.
Nailed it.
You know what I'm saying?
Nailed it. Hit song, next.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite?
I reckon why having a beard is better than having a woman.
A beard is a fucking thing that pretty much only dudes have, with the exception of maybe that lady you were talking about before.
Yeah.
And my grandmother.
Yeah, and your grandma.
Handsome woman.
Did you... Handsome hairsuit.
Yeah,
woman.
lovely.
Did you get any grief about the kind of blokiness of it or whatever? People complain about everything these days.
Yeah.
Did you get much grief in that area? Or?
Mainly from probably the managerial perspective, because they were like, well, you're missing out on a whole faction here. And I think Joel, our lead singer, on that last album, wrote All the Bearded Ladies, probably in an effort to,
Bring it back
bring
a little
them
bit.
in, bring them in, get them along to gigs. More often than not, any lady that it was at a gig, you would see there with a bearded bloke who was going off his tits and loving it, and she would be just clearly bored shitless.
Sure.
Yeah. So any women that we had they did not enjoy us, and that's fine. Other women that did like us at least got the joke.
Yes.
Sure. Whereas a lot of blokes, they did not get the joke.
This
Some
is
of them-
legit about beards.
Yeah, some of them really took it too seriously.
Now, all right, we've talked about beards and stuff. I want to know, you've toured around in a rock band. What's the most fucking rock and roll thing? When did you just sit there and go, this is the most rock and roll thing I have ever done?
I wondered if you would ask me about this, and this is the only thing I've thought about.
That you can't say.
Well, it's like, the thing is, the Beards, we were very well known as pretty heavy drinkers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like there's a venue in Cairns called the and they keep a tally of how much bands drink.
Yeah, right.
And the first time we played there, we knocked off UMI.
Really?
For the most drinks.
That's solid.
In one night.
Yeah, 'cause
so I don't know if we still hold that record.
Oh, wow.
We'll have to call up the Jack and find out. But
Fucking out drinking you am I. Is that what you're saying?
well, no, that's not it.
That's pretty good.
What I did think I might share is
Yeah.
a simile of barbiturate.
Okay.
Was another rock and roll band called Contraband.
Okay.
Okay, so we toured with them just in and around the Sydney area. So Sydney, Wollongong, and then we finished a leg in Newcastle.
Okay.
And we were there in Newcastle, and it was the end, and we were all going home the next day, and we'd all gone to bed, and I said to the lads, like, these are young blokes who are their first tour, and they're on tour with the Beards, and we haven't done nothing. We're gonna mess them up.
Yeah.
Let's do something. And so the only thing we could think of was to knock on their door, and when they answered their hostel door, we would all be there in a naked pyramid. So we did that, and then we all got up and high-fived each other and ran back to our rooms. Thinking, what a great job we've done.
Yeah.
And then we hear this. And we thought, oh, shit. So we opened the door, and there's one of them standing naked in a pose with his tallywhacker tucked between his legs.
Yep.
And the other one on his back with his legs behind his ears, full spread butt cheeks. So you could pretty much see his small intestine. Like, there were unchewed bits of carrot we could see just lodged in his colon, right? Okay. So then we, clapped them, and they've run off.
Nice.
And we thought, okay, we're not going to get outdone by a couple of kids.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So we thought at that juncture, we'll go back to them, but then what if they come back? We've got to think of our end game.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so we thought, what's the worst thing we could do?
I think we all know.
So I said, what if we knock on the door and they open it and one of us is standing there with a full erection
Yep.
and the other one just about to suck it off and be like, oh, sorry. You know? And we thought, that's a great idea. But that's the last one. So I can't remember what we did when we went back the second time and then... I was just banging Joel up against the door.
Nice.
So it wasn't a knock so
Things
much
got a
as
bit
it
blurry.
was mashed. Yeah, we'd had a few drinks. Anyway, we did that, and then we thought there was a bit of a pause after the second visit. And then after 10 minutes, damn it, they're back. And we've opened the door, and he's just standing there naked. We're like, that's not impressive.
Seen
And
that.
then he lit a lighter and held it down to his pubes and lit his
Set 'em
pubes
on
on
fire.
fire.
Wow.
It's
That's
a
beautiful.
pretty strong move
Beautiful.
from the
That's
young
it.
lad.
That's it.
And so,
It's a Rowan Harry move.
It is a Rowan Harry move. I think he did it recently, actually, as well. Check out the Attitude Consultant on the Ozcast Network to hear more about that.
well, anyway,
Wow,
so
that's
we had to go to the end game and
like your beers on
there
fire.
was a very important rock, paper, scissors that took place. And I'm happy to say that I won.
Oh, my God.
And I didn't need to participate in the final end game, but I was very proud of my boys who not only one of them mustered an erection,
Sure.
but the other one, had to get down to the members' end and phrase a couple of balls. So anyway, we won that, and then we had to load out at 6 a.m.
We won that. We won that.
Yeah, we won the with the young lads. And then there was a very quiet loadout at 6 a.m.
Oh, please don't use
getting
the word
everything
loadout after that story.
into the cut.
Shame
Getting
with a
everything into the
capital
cut.
S.
Yeah, and everyone's looking down.
Yeah.
And then there was just a moment where we were just like, that got out of hand, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we're like, yep. But don't you contraband boys forget that we fucking won.
That's right.
Eh?
There you go.
Exactly. Now, I thought just briefly it might be hilarious.
Yeah.
We've had
reenact
a guy
the
by the
last-
name of Canadian Pete on the Badcast before. And actually, Canadian Pete is the guy who actually introduced me to JWah the first time.
How long ago was that?
Many a year ago.
10?
At least.
12?
Something like that, yeah.
Whoa.
Of course, JWah and Pete have been good mates growing up in the mean streets of Adelaide.
Yeah.
So tell us a story about Canadian Pete that we don't know.
Pete's always kept his nose clean.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
really nothing I
He's
could
really one to
divulge.
stay out of trouble,
Well,
isn't he?
how do you think JWah got the idea for the last
Yeah,
bit?
yeah.
You know, that's just how it works.
Very good. Big shouts out to Canadian Pete.
So what now for you? What's
going on?
What's so there's no Dairy Brothers, there's no beards, there's
No.
What's your next thing? What's are you?
I don't
are you
know.
just-
Well,
do you go separate ways? And
We still
get other
hang out.
beers, or-
We the Beards boys and I we host the open mic night at the Gov on
cool.
Friday nights.
Cool.
So
Check
we
that out.
just-
Governor Hindmarsh here in
Is it
Adelaide.
every Friday
Yep.
night?
It's every Friday night, but only two of us will do it.
Okay.
So tomorrow it's Michael, the drummer.
Yep.
Or John Beardman Jr.
He's
for those
very
of you
good.
playing at home.
That's right.
And he and I will be hosting tomorrow night.
What's your beard's name?
Facey McStubblington.
Facey McStubblington, everybody.
There we go.
Probably the least sensical one, but when I thought of it, I was so back on.
I can hear that.
Mate, it's a wonder you got a sentence out to us. So,
That's right, yeah.
Good work. So what happens in an open mic? Can comedians get up on open mic nights?
They can. No one has.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's
can,
mainly a music one.
yeah, right.
But we've had jam poetry,
Right,
which
okay.
doesn't involve a basketball.
No, or actual jam.
Yeah, no, I was really disappointed.
Poetry. Poetry.
Yeah. How now, brown bureaucrat? And then everyone would click instead of clap. It's weird. But, so we just do that now, and I've been in a funk band for 8 years or something now, and
yeah,
they've just
right.
been waiting for the Beards to stop touring so
Yeah,
that
so
we
they
could
can-
do more than one gig a year.
Yep.
And we've done our one gig for this year, so if we get another one in,
Done.
you know,
Already fucking
Doubled it.
all over it.
Oh, well,
Cop that.
Maybe we could have like a bagcast night here at the Elephant where we could have the folk band there, and it would be fantastic. How cool
sounds
would
not
that be?
folk, funk.
Oh, funk. I thought
Jesus,
hard
you
rock
really do
funk,
know
son.
fuck
Oh.
all about music, big don't you?
I thought, fucking hell, he's really changed the gear. hasn't
No, if you try and rock up to a fucking funk night with a mandolin. See how far you get. You'll be walking out with it wedged fair up your clacker.
Yeah, if he uses this as a depository.
Yeah.
For sure.
Gee whiz, no. It's hard rock funk called Silent Duck. We're on Facebook. Check it out. It's great.
Silent Duck.
Silent Duck. That's
There we
right. So
go.
there you go, Silent Duck. I told my bearded grandmother about Silent Duck, and she knew what Silent Duck meant already.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Thank God. Otherwise, you'd have to show her.
Yeah, well, that's well.
It's from 1952. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thanks for coming on the show, mate. It's been really good. Do you have got
been
any
a
plugs you want
genuine
to do? Governor Hindmarsh, Friday nights, is it?
Yeah, it's Friday night. Come along, you know. Or,
Check out the Beards on Spotify. Where else
Sure.
can they find you?
YouTube. We've got a YouTube channel.
Cool.
With quite a number of hits,
Very good. Very
lots
good.
of
a lot of traffic.
Do you reckon maybe there's poetry at this open mic night? I'm just wondering, should we, and just get it recorded for the Badcast, could
Yeah.
we maybe come up with a duo poetry
Poem.
or
We could do a poem.
spoken
Yeah.
word art kind of thing to get going?
I think that would just be tremendous if you could throw something together and come on down tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
fuck.
You can get this little blue recording thingy going straight out of the desk.
The
Beautiful.
Smurf.
Sounds good.
Yeah, or next Friday. You know, whenever suits you guys.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
You got any gigs coming up, Biggie? Anyone's hiring you at the moment?
Well, I think I've got a couple of gigs coming up, but to be honest, I think they're just private, like 40th, 50th kind of shows. So,
Naked human.
corporate?
Tripod
yeah,
type of
corporate.
thing.
Yeah, call it corporate.
Got to wear a shirt.
Fancy
Yeah, corporate
shit.
backyards, which is because they've got a pool and stuff.
Yeah.
It's corporate, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Well, if you got little boys, pigs and blankets,
Oh yeah,
that's an hors d'oeuvre. They call it an hors d'oeuvre.
yeah,
That's right.
So
Corporate.
Fancy.
Well,
Fancy stuff.
It is Bucks Nights coming up, because there's coming into wedding season. So if you need a comedian, give us a buzz at the Badcast or Big Owl Comedy, all one word, because there was heaps of other Big Owls, and I didn't want to be Big Owl number 65 or
Sure.
Or by gal. Well, guys, thanks very much for listening. Thanks again to JWah for coming on. You can check us out on Stitcher, iTunes, all the major podcast apps, Audio Boom. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes and give us a shout out or give us a like on Facebook as well. We're all over the interwebs, so come and say hello.
You are a true gentleman. And I have to say, I remember you used to have long hair and people thought you were the Patapop Lion.
Yeah.
People thought I was Casey Donovan. We
Sure.
were a pair.
Yeah. And look at us now. Yeah, Father Time's a
We'll catch you next time, guys. Thanks for listening.
yeah.
Help us buy more beers and sponsor us. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or badcast.com.au. The Badcast is part of the Ozcast Podcast Network.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.